Hey, what's up guys? Coach Paulie here. Today I'm going to show you how to do a professional boxing hand wrap. Alright, so I have 2 rolls of gauze. This is not your typical gauze like our typical hand wrap that you can get at a gym. This is actually fight gauze that you wrap your hands when you fight pro or amateur or whatever. This is for competition, alright? So I have two rolls of gauze, 2 rolls for one hand, 2 rolls for each hand, okay? So one's to make the pad and then one's to wrap. And then also I have 1 roll of tape, okay? So I'm gonna show you guys how to wrap. I'm gonna wrap one hand, all right? So first things first, we're gonna start off with this gauze, with 1. We're gonna make the pad first. So what I do, so unroll it, I hold it right here, and then I'm gonna start wrapping around my whole hand all the way up to about right there in the hand, and then this is making the pad. So I'm just gonna go up and down my hand to about right there. Not quite the fingertips, but close to it. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going up and down until I'm done, finished with the gauze. All right, now once you have your pad, slide it off your hand. Okay, and then what you want to do is you want to fold it in half like that, and it goes on your knuckles like that. Okay, but first things first, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this gauze and I'm gonna make, at the very end of it, I'm gonna make a little hole in it. You can spread the gauze apart. And then I'm gonna slide my thumb in it, like that. And then I'm gonna go across the wrist, and I'm gonna start going up my wrist like this. Okay, once I go to the, about right there in the arm, I'm gonna go back down. Go back down to the wrist, okay? Once I do that, I'm gonna go around the thumb, all the way around, over the top, back over the wrist. Do that 2 or 3 times. Back over the wrist, around the thumb, over the wrist. Now I'm gonna cross. I'm gonna cross like that. I'm gonna keep my fingers spread also. Make sure you keep your hand open so you're not cutting off circulation so the gauze isn't too tight, okay? So, again, around the wrist, across the knuckles, okay? Do that maybe 2 or 3 times. Now I'm gonna cross back over to the wrist, maybe over the thumb one more time. And I'm gonna cross again, back over the knuckles. And then I'm gonna hold the gauze with my hand. Now I'm gonna put the pad on. So you have the pad like this, you're gonna crease in the middle. Not really the middle. Probably about right there. So yeah, it's like the middle. All right, now I'm gonna place it on top of my knuckles. You wanna make sure it's covering your knuckles. You don't wanna make sure it's too high up, because once you start wrapping, the gauze will pull back. So make sure it's a little bit close to your knuckles right here, okay? So I have it like that. I'm gonna take the gauze and I'm gonna secure it down. Make a little adjustment, make sure it's on straight. And I'm gonna tighten it down a little bit harder. Basically, all you're doing is trying to secure the pad tight down to your knuckles, okay? You don't want it loose. So make sure your fingers, again, make sure your fingers are spread so you're not cutting off circulation, okay? So I'm tightening it down. Okay, now I'm gonna go back over the wrist, around the thumb maybe again, back over the wrist, okay? Then we go up the arm. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is in the thumb area, you're gonna make a fist. You're gonna bring the gauze from the wrist right here to the knuckles, like that. Okay, so you really tighten what this does really secures the pad to your knuckles a lot tighter. Okay, make sure you make a fist when doing it too. Keep your fist, keep a fist. Don't open your hand because it'll slide off. And I'm going back around the wrist. I'm gonna do that 2 times. Okay, once you go back over the wrist, it's gonna go back over the knuckles. Okay, so it's close to the thumb. You're gonna go back over the pads, secure it down tight. Back over the wrist. Maybe around the thumb again. Over the wrist. Okay, now I'm gonna go in between the fingers. Okay, the first finger I'm gonna do is the pinky finger. Okay, I'm gonna go through the pinky finger, outside the pinky, over the top of the pad right here. And then I'm gonna cross it and pull it down. Cross it, go back over the wrist, all the way over. Now I'm gonna go in between the pointer finger, inside the thumb, back over the knuckle, securing it down, the pad real down, securing the pad down tight, back over the wrist. Now I'm gonna go in between the middle finger, inside the thumb. Once you go inside the thumb, now I'm gonna go over the top of the knuckle pad and really secure it down. Maybe go over it 2 or 3 times. I'm gonna go back across, back to the wrist, around the thumb maybe one more time. And then I'm gonna finish off up the arm. Okay, I'm gonna finish off right there. So it looks like that. It's not that pretty because I'm trying to, trying to give you guys a good view of all angles of how to do it. But yeah, okay. Like that. Make your little adjustments, open the hand. Open that up, open the palm up. Okay. Once you have the hand wrap done, let's take your tape. Okay. I'm gonna start at the end of the wrist, the bottom of the wrist, or the top of the arm, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Make sure your hand's open. I'm gonna start going up the arm. Okay, I'm gonna go around the thumb. Make sure your hand stays open. Around the thumb, all the way over, and over the top. Okay, now I'm gonna cross onto the knuckle area. Okay, in California, you're not allowed to wrap on the knuckles. So it has to be 1 inch behind the knuckles for it to be a legal hand wrap in California. I don't know how it is in other states, but that's how it is in Cali. All right, so 1 inch behind the knuckle. Go around the knuckles a few times. Go back over the wrist. Around the thumb. Back around the wrist. Okay, and then I'm gonna finish out on the wrist. Just go up, all the way up. All right. Not that pretty of a hand wrap because I'm really trying to demonstrate, give you guys a different angles. So make your adjustments, open it up, pull the inside of the hand wrap so you can make a grip. All right. That's what a professional boxing hand wrap looks like. All right.